What's crappin'? Welcome to Under the Foreskin, a show dedicated to happenings of the SJU Misfits Fantasy Football League. My name is Kyle. I'm the head of football operations for the Potomac Pretenders. The voice of SJU and Misfits Fantasy Football, and co-commissioner with Alex Dunn. In the office today, the Under the Foreskin Studios, also known as Top of the Heap 4-0, the owner and co-founder of the Poughkeepsie Pandas, Tyler Olson. Everybody say hi, Tyler.
Afternoon, gentlemen.
So we're going to talk a little bit about Week 4. We'll go through waiver wire Wednesday in the trading block per usual, and then Week 5 picks. We'll break down a big week of fantasy football coming up. So here we go. Week 4. First up, Potomac Pretenders. They took on the Alaskan Pipeliners. They fell, and they fell hard. 102-88. Potomac falls to 2-2, and the Pipeliners cruise to 3-1. Potomac Pretenders had a couple nice players. Frank Gore and Steve Smith put up some big numbers. Not bad for a couple old hags. 49 points between the two of them. Unfortunately for the Pretenders, the Pats defense put up a big donut on Monday night. And both of my Pierres, both Pierre Thomas and Pierre Garçon, put up 1 and 2 points respectively, or not respectively, however you want to look at it. For the Pipeliners, DeMarco Murray, new acquisition. Thanks for shipping him over, Zach. I guess it would have been Aaron Rodgers at my demise. Either way, it would have sucked. So, DeMarco for 27 points and 4 others in double figures. Nice week for the Pipeliners. Real average team puts up another good amount of points. Tom Brady, though, 4 points. Yikes. Pretty terrible for a quarterback. And he only threw to Edelman for 2 of those. So, tough week from the Patriots quarterback-wide receiver combo. Crapstone with a big W over Chernobyl. Chernobyl no longer undefeated, now 3-1. Crapstone, much needed victory to keep from the 1-3 dungeon. They're at 2-2. 123-112. Touchdown, Teddy Bridgewater, 22 points in his first career NFL start. Matt Asiata, fuck you, Alex, again for picking him up while I was shooting 74 at the Legends golf course. He scored 27. Would be nice to have Adrian doing that. And 4 others for Crapstone in double figures. Really, the only negative for Crapstone was his kicker this week. Poor kicker choice. Steven Gotskowski, 2 points. What are you thinking, Alex? For Chernobyl, Peyton Manning was on bye this week, so you didn't expect much out of Alex Smith. Oh, he gave you 21 points. Throwing dump-offs to Jamal Charles as he waltzes in the end zone. Jordy Nelson, another huge game. 2 touches, 100 yards. Just a fucking beauty, Jordy Nelson, 23 points. Unfortunately for Chernobyl, Shane Vereen, 6 points. Arian Foster, 5 points. Not what he's looking for out of those 2 players, and that was the difference. Sioux City Smugglers took on the Gnawbone Butte Pirates. Both were 0-3 working into this game. For Sioux City, they're now 0-4. They lost 85-113. Nice showing for the Butte Pirates this week. Aaron Rodgers, 28 points and 5 others in double figures. Negatives, Cordarrelle Patterson. What's up with this guy? 3 points. Bobby Rainey, he is what we thought he was. 1 point. Just a terrible player. Sioux City Smugglers got off to a great start on Thursday night, and I thought the Butte Pirates were in deep shit. Larry Donnell, 23 points on Thursday Night Football. And the Miami defense had a great game with 20 over at Wembley Stadium in London. Unfortunately, Rashad Jennings did not get off to a good start, 5 points. Neither did Kirk Cousins. I think he had like 5 points. And Justin Hunter with 1, not Le'Veon Bell, Joik Bell with 3 points. So some serious holes in the Sioux City lineup last week led to his demise. Duluth Draft Dodgers, they took on the Buffalo Armadillos. And for the Dodgers, they came out with the win. 2-2 they moved to. Dillos fall to 2-2. The Dillos fall to the curse of me picking them to win the league the rest of the year. Yikes, 86-74. 5 players in double figures for the Duluth Draft Dodgers. LaShawn McCoy. What is going on with LaShawn? Tyler, why don't you give me 10 seconds on LaShawn McCoy. What is his deal?
He sucks.
He's having a tough time out there, and Zach Ertz wasn't much better. McCoy with 1, Ertz with 2. Tough week to own a Philadelphia Eagle. Ask Jason Johannes. For the Dillos, Phillip Rivers just slinging the ball all over the field. 27 points this week. What a stud. Tight end, flex player, kicker, and defense, they added up to 9 points total. I didn't write down their names, but none of them were very good. questionable play. I usually don't judge plays of players in this game, because we got a 14-team league. It's pretty deep. You kind of start who you have to start. The Dillo started the Washington Redskins defense last week. They had 1 point. They're awful.
They were a top 5 unit going into the game.
They were not a top 5 unit going to the game. That's because people still think Eli Manning is the worst quarterback in the NFL. Yeah, you just cut those guys up. Look at that. Terrible play, Jack. Not impressed with you. I would have started Jacksonville over them. Saskatoon Skin Flutes. They took on the Hollywood Hotties, a 3-0 versus an 0-3. What would happen? Well, just what we thought would happen. The Skin Flutes moved to 4-0, and the Hotties fall to 0-4, 99-93. Not without a little drama, though. Monday Night Football came. Skin Flutes were getting waxed, and Jamal Charles said, "Oh, I'm back. My ankle's fine. I'm ready to play." 28 points on Monday Night Football. The Hotties didn't have enough with Stephen Ridley going, and gave a 6-point win for the Skin Flutes. Andrew Luck, 29 points. Looks like the best trade Dave's ever made. Yes, Tyler just pointed this out. New Orleans defense against Dallas, -1 points. Those guys put up 5. All of a sudden, it's 99-99. 4 players in double figures for the Hotties, so at least they got over the 50-point mark this week. That's been a struggle every other week. Randall Cobb with 24 points, newly acquired. Next up, Poughkeepsie Pandas, your team, Tyler, 3-0. They took on the Baton Rouge Border Collies at 1-2. And the Pandas came out with a win in an ugly one. 71-59. Pandas now 4-0, tied with the Saskatoon Skin Flutes for the top of the league. Tony Romo, 24 points on Sunday Night Football. Had to be cheering for that, as the rest of your team had a pretty tough day out there. Kelvin Johnson, just a glorified decoy, 1 point. Sweet Vernon Davis had a little bit of back bubbles going on, and he went for 0. But fortunately, you were backed up by the Border Collies. Nick Foles, 3 points. Jeremy Macklin, 5. Donald Brown, who everyone had big hopes for, I think he was projected for like 18 points. He scored 4 against Jacksonville. So that's pretty disappointing for the Border Collies. And Eli was on the bench, which I would have started Foles too. Yeah, I would have started Foles over Eli. Start your studs. Let's be honest. Waco Wrinklebeasts, last game of the week. They took on the Flint Tropics. Flint Tropics 2-1. Waco was 1-2 going into this, and now they're both 2-2. Waco gets the win, 107-81. Thank you. Matthew Stafford for Flint Tropics, really the only point getter, 25 points. Carolina D, -2 points. That's awful. That's David Wilson kind of numbers. And Greg Olson, who's been a stud for Flint all year, only with 3 points, as Cam could not get him the ball. For Waco, Antonio Brown, this guy is electric. He is just crazy fast. He looks like he's playing a different game out there. 26 points this week, 2 touchdowns, 6 other players in double digits for Waco. Kendall Wright, the only one who struggled this week, with 3 points. All right, Waiver Wire Wednesday. We'll zip through this quick because it was a pretty uneventful Waiver Wire Wednesday. Jarius Wright, a little bit of hometown love going on here. He went for 16 points on the waiver wire this week to the Chernobyl Tin Whiskers, who I don't think need any more depth at wide receiver. They're already doing just fine. Darren Reeves went to my Potomac Pretenders for 14. I don't believe there were any other bids on those 2 players. I think it was just Chernobyl bidding on Jarius and me bidding on Darren Reeves. Dwayne Allen went for 9 to the Waco Wrinklebeasts, which the Baton Rouge Border Collies also bid 9, but Wrinklebeasts out waiver positioned them. Anything to say about those 3 waiver wire pickups? Nope. Not worth talking about. The trading block. Holy cats, get busy here. We're going to start at the bottom. Last week, Larry Fitzgerald was sent to the Saskatoon Skin Flutes for Darren Sproles, and he went to the Baton Rouge Border Collies. Fitz off to a really tough start, but still a big name and a good offense. Darren Sproles, Dave must have known when to ship him because he had a tough game against this week against San Francisco. Orange Julius. Now, this is when the madness started happening. We were up at Alex's bachelor party, and it was just a fucking yard sale. Jack was drinking Silver Patron. talking about my wife's boobs is really weird. Sorry, Jamie. I was talking about your butt, so it's okay. Orange Julius. Anyways, I digress. Orange Julius went to the Saskatoon Skin Flutes for Jordan Cameron and $34 of auction cash next year. Bitch, don't send me emails. So then, soon after, the Buffalo Armadillos shipped $24 Isaiah Crowell and DeAndre Hopkins to the Nabone Butte Pirates for Brandon Marshall. Just give me your overall impressions of these back-to-back deals.
I mean, for Zach, bottom of the barrel right now. He's getting DeAndre. I don't know what he got auctioned at this year, but I mean, he's playing pretty damn well, and he needs another running back. So if Crowell, Tater, or West, whoever the hell eventually takes the lead in that, plus the addition of $20 for his thing for next year. I mean, he's already looking for next year. He's done with this league.
All right, and then after that, T.Y. Hilton was sent to the Baton Rouge Border Collies for Nick Foles to the Sioux City Smugglers, and the Smugglers much needed a quarterback. Kirk Cousins did not show up in their Thursday night matchup, and he was looking for a QB. Jason then turned around and sold T.Y. Hilton and Steven Jackson to the Saskatoon Skin Flutes for Mike Wallace and Stevie Johnson. I don't have a lot to say about that trade. We'll see. I guess I like Mike Wallace the best out of that group, and I thought Dave was pretty tied to Mike Wallace, as he wouldn't take Steve Smith from Mike Wallace. Oops. Antonio Gates then was Saskatoon and Border Collies hot on the text messaging this week. Jason Witten for Antonio Gates. Gates to the Border Collies, Witten to the Skin Flutes. Again, we're not going to spend much time talking about that. It's irrelevant. All right, here we go. Week 5 matchups. The Potomac Pretenders, we'll start with them. They take on the Baton Rouge Border Collies. Big week for Baton Rouge, being 1-3. Got to get back to 2-3. Can't fall to 1-4. Fortunately for them, Eli Manning, nice matchup against Atlanta. Teddy Bridgewater looked like Brett Favre out there against Atlanta. Victor Cruz hopefully will be the benefactor of that if you're Jason. And then you got Marshawn Lynch and the Seattle defense playing Washington on Monday night. So Jason's probably going to be coming from behind on Monday. Is it going to be enough? I don't know, because Darren Sproles is playing at St. Louis, and I think LaShawn McCoy comes back to life this week. Big question mark for me. Brian Quick versus Philadelphia. This guy hasn't done, a lot of exciting things, but he's been pretty solid, and he makes me really nervous. For me, Drew Brees, I need a 30-point game out of him, to be honest. I really do. I need the Pitbull, Steve Smith, to have a big week again at Indianapolis. He's the number 3 wide receiver in the NFL right now, in case you were wondering. In case anybody wants to offer me a similar ranked wide receiver in a trade. Frank Gore plays Kansas City. That's a little bit of a question mark for me, but Frank Gore, has been looking pretty good. Garcon is probably going to have one of those stud corners from Seattle draped all over him. Never see a ball the whole game. Not feeling good about Garcon. And my big question mark of the week, Darren Reeves. I think you know what this deserves.
Who?
Darren Reeves. Who? My verdict, I'm going Border Collies. I think they come back on Monday night and beat me. Tyler, your thoughts?
Unfortunately for Kyle, I also am going to go Border Collies. I think, especially having your number 1 wide receiver going against Seattle.
Steve Smith might have a wide receiver.
In theory. And New England's D especially, they're really shoddy right now. And Cincinnati's offense coming back off a bye, well rested, just pumping that ball to Gio.
Yeah.
Border Collies in a rout.
Ooh, ouch, in a rout. Crapstone 2-2 takes on the 0-4 Sioux City Smugglers. A lot of new toys for Crapstone this week. Demaryius Thomas, Russell Wilson. I like both of those guys this week. Wilson on Monday night, Demaryius against Arizona. But Matt Asiata, I got a bad feeling about Asiata tonight. Christian Ponder's going to be out there. It's going to be ugly. I think Asiata puts up, a single-digit low number tonight, and it hurts Crapstone. And here's a big question mark. The Big Mac in Amsterdam, you know what that's called? It's It's called a Royale with cheese. That's the question mark. Eddie Royale with cheese started off super hot last year. Can he continue? He's done the same thing again this year. He didn't do it last year, so we'll see. For the Smugglers, Gio at New England. I mean, that's terrifying. Gio's just a fucking bear, and New England's run D is pretty porous. So you got to like that. You got to like Rashad Jennings at Atlanta. I mean, Jerick McKinnon and Asiata look like Emmitt Smith and Jim Brown. I mean, it's just crazy. Philly D, boom or bust, though, for the Smugglers. I mean, they got a terrible defense, but they also can score some touchdowns. Big question mark this week, Michael Floyd playing Denver without Carson Palmer. How's he going to hold up? I think the Smugglers get off the schneid and hand Crapstone their third loss of the season. Your thoughts?
I agree. I mean, I like every single player that the Smugglers are putting out there this week. Besides, well, even the defense against St. Louis, they're not exactly a great offensive mind. Kelvin Benjamin finally going to hopefully stay in the starting lineup for the Smugglers, as he should have been since at least week 2. AJ and Gio coming back off bye. Larry Donnell off of his monster game that almost slaughtered me in my other league, but I'm going to go Smugglers. I think they're going to get that first win on the year.
In the Smugglers' defense, they're a lot better team than their record shows. Duluth Draft Dodgers 2-2 take on the Gnawbone Butte Pirates. Pittsburgh defense plays Jacksonville. That could prove interesting. Although Blake Bortles at the helm, could be some junk time scoring. You just got to hope that Pittsburgh doesn't score a touchdown if you're Zach. The Pittsburgh D, though, is nothing, to clap at. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat them last week. Some minuses for the Dodgers this week. Alfred Morris plays Seattle. Tough matchup. Big question mark, LaShawn McCoy. The guy's been shitty, no doubt. I think this is a week he bounces back. Ryan and Roddy are on the road at New York. Doesn't really worry me. I think they're going to have a good game. For the Butte Pirates, Aaron Rodgers plays the Vikes tonight. It's going to be raining, though. That could mean Eddie Lacy has a bigger game, and Rodgers kind of just, manages the game. And a lot of question marks for Gnawbone at running back. Jerick McKinnon, Justin Forsett, both are big-time question marks. And Andre Ellington, he hasn't done much. He hasn't scored a touchdown, I know that. But he did just have a bye, and he is healthy. So I like the Dodgers. I think McCoy rights the ship, has a 20-some point game, and they sneak by the Butte Pirates in a low-scoring affair. Your thoughts?
Oh, boy. I'm going to go Dodgers as well, just because having Rodgers going tonight, if he had a non-horrible weather matchup, I'd go Butte Pirates on this, but I think I'd go with Dodgers just with the weather they're supposed to have up in Green Bay tonight. Could affect, his kicker, his running back, and Rodgers. And not to mention he's got Buffalo's D against Detroit, which I don't.
I put that as a minus on mine, too, yeah. All right, we sweep it for the Dodgers. Chernobyl Tin Whiskers 3-1 take on the Waco Wrinkle Beast at 2-2. Jordy, I got him as a plus, but as I just kind of bagged on Aaron Rodgers, you can't feel great about the rain and what's going on in Green Bay tonight. And maybe he draws Xavier Rhodes, nice player from Minnesota. Peyton Manning, though, is on the Chernobyl Tin Whiskers. I don't know if you've heard. He's pretty good. Got Emmanuel Sanders. Could score some big-time, double point touchdowns. Kyrie Robinson, my only minus on the Chernobyl Tin Whiskers this week. Just a lot of unknown. He probably should be a question mark and not a minus. And then the other question mark, and this is a big one, Arian Foster, questionable with some sort of ailment. I'm not sure. Oh, you got Alfred Blue. That's right. So, if Foster doesn't go, that might change my pick. I'm going to say he goes. And for the Waco Wrinkle Beast, Antonio, and he's going with Big Ben over Cam Newton, which I kind of like the thought process. He's playing Jacksonville. I'm saying Jacksonville beats the Steelers this weekend. I'm calling it right now. I think I did it in the ESPN Pigskin Pick'em thing. I picked Jacksonville over Pittsburgh. And Chris Johnson sucks, so that's a minus. And you got a question mark in Monte Ball. He hasn't done shit this year. And Arizona has a good run D. So I'm going Chernobyl. They get their fourth win. Wrinkle Beast fall to 2-3. Your thoughts, Mr. Olson?
I'd love to go against you, but I feel like a lot of these matchups are pretty easy so far this week. They're, Waco's a bunch of their key guys are going against, great Ds, especially Martellus Bennett, his number one, well, besides Antonio Brown, his number one scoring player going against Carolina, which has, they're not quite as good as they were last year, but they're still a hell of a good defense.
Still a solid defense, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Martellus Bennett's been just an absolute stud. Great job, Joel, picking him up. Alaskan Pipeliners 3-1 take on the Buffalo Armadillos. DeMarco Murray, who cares who he plays? The guy just fucking runs over everyone. Ruben Randall plays Atlanta. You got to like your chances of him getting some yards, targets, and touchdowns. Big minus for the Pipeliners. Is it Alaskan Pipeliners? Alaskan Pipeliners. Oh, yeah, he's the Polish sausage rolls for. Flacco, he's at the helm this week. Flacco doesn't get a lot of starts even in our league. So you can't feel great about that. And a big question mark, I see Keenan Allen on the Pine. I don't know how I feel about having Keenan Allen on the Pine after he just serves you up a nice 11-point game last week. Caught a lot of balls, got a lot of looks. I don't know, Seth. I like to see Keenan Allen in that lineup. For the Dillos, Phillip Rivers plays the Jets. They're not going to be able to run the ball, so they're going to be throwing the ball. And Le'Veon at Jacksonville. I know I just said Jacksonville's going to win, but Le'Veon's probably going to have a nice game. Guy's got a lot of wiggle. Big minus, Washington D, which as we started the podcast, I saw that Jack dropped the Washington D and picked up the Giants D. I still don't love the Giants D, but might be the best option out there for him. So that's a minus. Big question mark, Bishop Sankey. B. Sankey. And Wes Welker. Wes, we haven't really seen a lot of him since he came back one game, but you got to wonder how he's going to do out there. Tough. I think this is one of the hardest games to pick. I think the Buff Dillos get it done.
I'm unfortunately going to be in green with you again. I think the Julio Jones-Brandon Marshall combination is going to come into effect and steamroll something called Julian Edelman and Ruben Randall. And I think it's Dillos are going to take this one easily.
Wax job, Tyler says. Dillos win. Next up, Saskatoon Skin Flutes 4-0. Top of the heap versus the Flint Tropics 2-2. Orange Julius, Andrew Luck. These two are going to score 30 points each this week. It's going to be just a bloodbath. But some minuses on the Skin Flutes. Larry Fitzgerald hasn't done much, and Deshaun Jackson plays Seattle. You got to figure that Kirk Cousins is going to have a hard time against Seattle. Question marks. Reggie Bush looking like he's going to get all the work this week. Is that turned into a good thing for the Saskatoon Skin Flutes? Joik Bell looks like he's down with a concussion. And T.Y. Hilton, that's a nasty combo. If he's hot and Andrew Luck's throwing it to him, which he will be, that's a nasty-looking combo. Trying to throw it to him. Well said. For the Flint Tropics, I didn't see a ton of positives. Matt Stafford plays Buffalo. You got to like that matchup. You got to be a little nervous of that Buffalo pass rush, though. Them coming in hot and just wiping Stafford clean. Bad shoulder, take out his knee. Something's going to happen, I got a feeling. Taliaferro and Bernard Pierce are going to be his two starting running backs. He's got somebody in there right now. McFadden's on a bye, and he doesn't have much else on the bench unless he starts Devonta Freeman, right? He's the only other person playing. So he's going to have two Ravens running backs in there. I've heard of starting two Bills running backs. I've heard of starting two Jets running backs. I've heard of starting two Titans running backs, but I've not heard of two Baltimore Ravens running backs. Yuck. I like the Saskatoon Skin Flutes in this one by at least a quarter of a mile.
I really pray that Dinger's going to pull this one out of his ass. He's going to need some Torrey Smith to come out of whatever hellhole he's stuck in right now and make some damn plays for once, to pick up for his horrid run game right now. I want the Tropics to win, but I don't think they will. I think Skin Flutes are going to take this one as well.
All right, last matchup. The Poughkeepsie. Wow, I almost said Potomac Pandas. I was kind of wishing I was 4-0 at the top of the heap. The Poughkeepsie Pandas, they take on the Hollywood Hotties this week. For the Hotties, Randall Cobb playing the Vikes tonight. Zach Stacy, nice matchup against Philly. Percy, nice matchup against Washington. Really a big negative, though. Their tight end, Jordan Reed, scheduled to start on his fantasy lineup. Probably not scheduled to start on Monday Night Football this week. That means he's probably going to have to reach for a guy like, I don't even know who the third string tight end is there. Logan Paulson? Yeah. And then you got a big question mark in Sammy Watkins. He's got Kyle Orton hurling the ball. Now, we've seen good things out of Kyle Orton. He went to the Super Bowl, got waxed by Peyton, but it's still Kyle Orton. He kind of has the same body type as I have. I mean, it's bad. He likes to party. For the Pandas, tough week for the Pandas. Some tough matchups. Not a ton to get excited about because all their studs have question marks by them. Calvin Johnson, what's he got? Ankle, foot? What is it? Decoy. Eric Decker, I know that's a hamstring. Vernon Davis, back spasms. Dougie Martin just hasn't done much for you. And Freddie Jackson, who's he play? Detroit, tough run D. Although Freddie catches the ball, so he might be all right there. I'm going to say that's your best positive. So I think it's a tough week for the Pandas. I think the Hotties have some favorable matchups. Tyler's scared of 0-4 teams, he tells me. I'm going Hotties.
I hate to pick against my own team, but I just got too many goddamn injuries, and it really depends on what Lacey does tonight. Lacey and Cobb, if it's just mucking it up out there, I like my odds a lot better, but I am going to go Hotties.
Wow, the same picks. We picked the same teams all the way down the order. Well, that was a successful episode, one take of Under the Foreskin. As always, follow us on Twitter at SJU Misfits and on YouTube, youtube.com/SJU and Misfits. Until next week, good luck out there on the gridiron. Take care, everybody.